Hello and welcome. You're with IndiaPostLive.com, India's first live interactive web television. This is your very own portal where you can engage with us and join in on our discussions. You can also leave us your posts on www.IndiaPostLive.com. You can leave us your video comments. And of course, you can tweet us at #IndiaPostLive and @IndiaPostLive. Well, polling ended yesterday, the first major state elections after Narendra Modi stormed to power at the centre in the month of May. A record turnout, the highest ever turnout of 76% in Haryana and 64% in Maharashtra. People came out in large numbers to vote, and in fact you will remember that the by-election results were not very happy for the BJP, and Mr. Narendra Modi himself campaigned in both these states, and he exhorted the people to vote for the BJP, and he trumpeted about his achievements such as promises of investment from Japan, opening banks for the poor, etc., etc. So we're going to discuss all of that. The exit polls, we are going to bring you the exit polls of various agencies in a while. As soon as as I introduce our guests, we're going to discuss the exit polls. We're going to talk about what magic did the BJP really do to stay ahead in those exit polls. I'm joined by Anita Katyal, senior journalist. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us. And Ashok Wankhede, political analyst and journalist. Thank you so much, both of you. Great having you on India Post Live studio after so many days. Thanks so much.
Good to be here.
Thanks. All right. Now, first, before we begin, let's take a look at the exit polls that came in late last evening after polling ended. Most of the exit polls have predicted that the Bharatiya Janata Party is ahead, though most don't give it a clear majority. Okay, Haryana has 90 assembly seats. Chanakya has predicted 52 for the BJP, and Chanakya giving it a very simple majority. Times Now C voter 37, Nielsen 54, India TV C voter 34 to 40, and you can see the numbers that were there in 2009, in the 2009 elections. A huge difference, Chanakya giving Congress a mere 10, and in 2009 it was 40. INLD 23, Chanakya gives, and 2009 was 31. So quite a big loss there for INLD as well. Okay, so that is as far as Haryana goes. Let's take a quick look at Maharashtra also before we move on to the state-wise analysis. BJP is giving 151. Once again, a simple majority to the BJP. And there you can see a C voter giving between 133 to 143 to the BJP. Nielsen giving 144. Congress, of course, once again, a loser, as you can see from the 2009 numbers. NCP, Chanakya is giving only 28. Nielsen is giving 29. C voter is giving between 25 to 35. The MNS, Chanakya gives it 11, one less than 2009, and Nielsen is giving it only 3. That's the breakup of all the exit poll results that came in yesterday. All right, let's discuss Haryana first. Haryana, again, a very, very interesting election this time. I would think that, Anita ma'am, this large turnout, the large voter turnout of 76%, the highest ever turnout, does indicate anti-incumbency, does it not?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You could see it actually, even if there was, even well before the people, lined up to cast their vote, it was very much evident, it was evident even from a distance, all the reports which were coming in from there, and people who were covering the elections, who were reporting from there and coming back, was saying all this, saying the fact that there is huge anti-incumbency against the Huda government, and the anger against the Congress, which we saw manifest itself in the Lok Sabha elections when it was reduced to a mere 44, had not subsided yet, and the Modi magic has held on. So
he addressed 11 rallies in Haryana, I think.
don't have the figures, but I mean, whether it was
11.
Maharashtra
11
or
rallies.
Huge number of, I mean, actually because they don't have any candidates over there. Not candidates, they don't have prominent leaders over there because they never had a strong base. They've also been kind of piggy riding along with INLD, and last time it was Kuldeep Bishnoi's outfit. So they have never had a very strong base there, and they have but it was a huge surprise for them when they got 7 seats seven seats in Lok Sabha. And I think that is kind of what emboldened them, and they felt encouraged by this result and the fact that the popularity of Modi had held on. So the combination of that,
so
they decided that they would go it alone.
Exactly. Don't you think the BJP took a huge gamble?
Absolutely.
Of course, in both the states, we'll discuss Maharashtra also, but even in Haryana, it's a huge gamble to campaign alone. So it's basically riding on the shoulders of the Modi magic.
Yeah, absolutely. Not only that was one gamble that they took, the gamble that the fact that they decided to go it alone in a state where they have traditionally never had a strong base, you know, and they've always had to tie up with some local party.
If they form the government, it'll be the first time ever that they're forming a government in Haryana.
And in Maharashtra as well, you know, they were always, as far as the assembly elections were concerned, they were always the junior partner.
Right.
You know, the arrangement was that in Lok Sabha, they would, BJP would have contest more seats, and they would be the senior partner, and in Assembly, it was the Shiv Sena. And that was kind of, they had worked it out, and everybody was happy with it.
Association ended.
Yeah. And so I would say, you know, so that was the one risk they took, and the second was by centering the whole campaign around Modi.
Yes.
Now you see, earlier he was the PM candidate, and that was a Lok Sabha election in the May election. But this time it's an assembly election, and he's the Prime Minister of the country.
Yes.
But he was campaigning almost like a state president.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that was a huge risk, because the whole thing was Modi centric, the entire election campaign, and if it had failed, you know, his reputation and his prestige was at stake.
Right.
So that was a big gamble that they took.
A huge gamble. Let me bring in Mr. Sanjeev Singh now, BJP leader. He's the co-convener of the IT cell. Hi, Sanjeev sir, how are you?
I'm fine, Niranjala. How are you?
I'm all right. I can see that beaming smile on your face. We were just talking about the big risk, the huge risk your party took. You decided to go it alone in both the states, and Mr. Narendra Modi himself campaigned, as Anita ma'am said, he almost campaigned like he's the state BJP chief of both those states.
See, Narendra Bhai today symbolizes probity or honesty in public life. He symbolizes development or progress. He symbolizes nationalism. So it was not a risk per se, but what we will say is, like, with the kind of support which BJP has been getting from the electorate across the nation, it was a confident assessment, a calculated assessment to go it alone, so that we are in a position to deliver to people without any shackles, without any restraints. And people have, they seem to, if exit poll results are anything to go by, people seem to have, reposed their faith again in our leadership.
All right, we are right now starting by discussing Haryana, and then we will go to Maharashtra. In Haryana, basically, it was a three-cornered contest, wasn't it? The Congress, the BJP and the INLD.
And then there was the Janhit, Haryana Congress or whatever.
Yeah, Haryana Janhit Congress, HJC, right. And the newly floated Haryana Jan Chetna Party, the Haryana Lok Hit Party, and the BSP. These were the parties
these people had kind of cobbled together some kind of a loose association.
All right. So what do you think, why are the exit polls, Ashokji, let me ask you, what do you think happened, or what do you think went right for BJP? As Sanjeev ji is saying, is it just the Modi factor?
Yeah, because, see, in last Lok Sabha election, nobody thought that the single party could come to the power in the center. And the BJP has proved that. The people have realized by having a coalition government at various places, nobody works and always the blame is put on the compulsions of the coalition government. So people somewhere down the line, if you see the state results before the Lok Sabha elections, they have given mandate to a particular party in a totality. The same thing has happened in the center. BJP, being a party, wanted to be a national party. Though it claimed to be a national party, but it was a cowbell party.
Right.
Now, Northeast was almost empty. South, they were not there. After Karnataka, they started thinking that they can also invade rest of the states. In Northeast, Lok Sabha election, their percentage went up. They could manage to get one seat in West Bengal also. So that was the confidence they had. So they thought, if really we want to make it big, become a national party, then they started their experiment with the parties where they were in coalition with various people,
Right.
like Maharashtra and this Haryana. Now Haryana, they were in partnership with Janhit Congress. They just got rid of them for their own. In Maharashtra, with great planning, they got Shiv Sena out, but that was a big risk, and they took a risk of their own. Now, problem I see the Haryana achievement will be a bigger achievement,
Okay.
because there was no cadre.
Yeah.
There was no party in Haryana. Even then, if you come to power, that's a great achievement,
huge
and
achievement.
that's entirely credit goes to Narendra Bhai. Now, the problem is in Haryana is people tried Congress, people tried NLD,
ILD,
people tried or other parties also. Everybody, they had a lot of corruption. There were a lot of corruption issues,
Unpopular
unpopular
incumbency, basically.
incumbency.
Yeah.
Now, BJP never ruled Haryana.
Yeah.
So this time the people
Want to give a chance.
open-heartedly voted for Haryana, and one mentality you always find in
Yeah.
rest of this, what Indira Gandhi is also used to deliver in a speech.
Yeah.
केंद्र में कौन है? कांग्रेस है. तो यहाँ कौन होगा? कांग्रेस होगा. Similarly, Narendra Bhai has played that card in Maharashtra.
All
He
right.
said, BJP is at the center. You give me a chance in Maharashtra. There will be an easy flow of fund.
Yes.
The policies will be implemented.
Take your share in all the investment that's coming. That was what he said in the speech,
That's
yes.
all entire thing, that
Yeah.
it become a deadly cocktail. So the cocktail
development.
proved to be deadly for the Congress, Shiv Sena, MNS,
we will talk
and
of
all rest of the people.
We will talk of what is going wrong in the Congress, of course. That has to be talked about. Sanjeev sir, just if you could just hang on for a second. We have I have Aneet online with me. Aneet, in fact, is a participation request on our show, and he has something to say to us regarding the elections. After that, I will bring in my colleague Vinayak, and he has his very own perceptions about Haryana. Aneet, welcome to India Post Live. Can you hear me, Aneet? All right, there seems to be an audio issue. Okay, let me go to Vinayak. Vinayak is my senior colleague. And Vinayak, you seem to have a slightly different viewpoint as far as the final results that are going to come out on Sunday goes. Am I right?
I will continue from where Wankhede sir just left.
Yeah.
Like, the best performance of the BJP in Haryana had been 8 or 9 seats, to the best of my knowledge. BJP never got to double digits in Haryana. 1. 2. BJP don't have a face. No leader to be projected as CM in Haryana. They don't have any party cadre. Yes, there is cadre of RSS, but there is no cadre for the BJP there in Haryana. So I believe if BJP gets closer to the majority, in a way, if the party gets from 35 to say 42 seats, it will be good enough. It will be a really good performance by the BJP. And I believe BJP started their campaign with Haryana Janhit Congress, with Kuldeep Bishnoi. They started with a strategy to consolidate all the non-Jat votes against the traditional Jat votes who vote unanimously, mostly for the party they tend to choose. In some elections they voted for Inelo, in other elections they voted for Congress, and in this election it was the Inelo who got the default anti-incumbency vote, which was there for the Congress, which was there against the Congress. So that incumbent vote was cashed by Inelo, and not for the BJP, because the in the rural heartland, in the Bangar area of Haryana, which has been the decisive area for Haryana politics, which has given most of the chief ministers, Bhajan Lal, Bansi Lal, Devi Lal, Chota Lal. So that is a Jat-dominated area, and if we see the voter turnout there, Elanabad got 89%. In Elanabad, the turnout was 89%. In Tosham it was 82%, in Fatehabad it was 87%. So these are the people who vote in flock, and there were a lot booth capturing. And Inalo is known for the booth capturing, and their voters also vote in a chunk. So,
Okay, let's.
Plus there was a sympathy factor from Om Prakash Chautala, who was put behind the bars,
Yeah.
by the CBI. He came out on a bail for around a couple of weeks, and people thronged in his rallies. So we need to keep this thing in mind.
Okay, so he has a different perspective. Vinayak, while Wankhede sir and Anita ma'am,
I have a point to make.
Can I just play the vote shares out while you talk? Please respond to that. Let's play the vote shares out for you on your screens. Yeah, please respond.
Vinayak, similar reports were there also in Lok Sabha elections in UP. That Mulayam Singh's party has captured lot many booths and heavy voting has been done. But I think that will not work this time. People have decided to vote for a particular party. The problem with Chautala's party is that it is confined to a particular belt. He has 2-3 districts, 4 districts with him. Huda has got some 2-3 districts with him. Haryana is scattered among these regional parties. People are fed up with this thing. Otherwise, see what last time has happened. Congress was not in a majority, so ultimately the Kanda has to come forward and become a home minister in the state. People are fed up with this. The new voters, the young voters, the educated voters, they want any particular party, but a single party to rule the state. At least somebody should take a responsibility. Yes, we were in a rule and we made a mistake, or we have done good to the state. Now that thing is missing in Maharashtra also. The chief minister gives a interview to a newspaper saying that it was all scams were done by NCP people and there were some Congress leaders involved. Had I put them in jail, it would have been a problem. It was a problem, means I had to face a lot of many problems because of the coalition government. Who the hell told him to be in the rule? He should have quit then and there only and gone for an election. Now, at the time of election, you are saying all those people were bad. Till then, you are shielding them till the last date. So people have realized this. So people says, whoever comes, let them play for 5 years and let them be accountable of their own. So that is what the things are have gone for in favor of BJP.
Vinayak, you have come out with your own numbers, haven't you? Yeah, India Post Live's own exit poll. Can we play that on the screen while you explain that to us with your logic?
Yeah, actually
how did you do?
We talked to lot many people. We conducted a poll on Facebook. We verified it with the numbers of the different parties that they were having with themselves. We talked to various sources of different parties. We matched that data with the turnout and we asked questions there and some data from the election commission. Then we came out with the final
Chanakya gave 51. You are giving between 37 to 43. Rather, we are okay.
I don't see any logic behind getting. I'm not criticizing anybody, but I don't find any logic of 51 seats for a party like BJP in Haryana. See, in Lok Sabha, there was a wave in favor of Modi. We talked to people there that
that's what everyone's saying. The wave continues to exist.
That's a problem. Wave continues.
The wave continues.
There is no leadership. See,
okay,
who will come out from Congress?
Let me bring in Sanjeev sir again. Let me bring in Sanjeev sir. Vinayak, just let me hear what sir has to say. My colleague is saying that what happened in the Lok Sabha need not necessarily translate into what happens in this assembly elections.
Have the aspirations of people changed? They were the same in Lok Sabha election, they are the same today also. So, see, what is happening is, I would like to make a point here. I'll appreciate what Ashok Bhai has just said. He's an erudite, experienced, astute journalist. I respect him a lot for his views. What I would like to say is, you need to understand, we have understood it. I'll be very happy if other political parties also understand for a healthy democracy to, persist in India. See, 70% of voters being youth today, and they have got an entirely different outlook towards, in terms of expectation from politicians today. So you need to understand that. You need to understand the aspirations that this youth has today. So when you talk about, when you do, the problems of detailing, going into the micro things, ये जाट उसके साथ जाएगा तो बनिया उसके साथ जाएगा तो सब backward उसके साथ जाएगा. These things are still relevant, but not to that extent as they used to be 10 years back or 20 years back. So you need to understand that. We at BJP have understood it very well, and that is the reason, apart from the Narendra Bhai's image and the promise which he has, beholden to the voters, which is, translating into wholehearted support from voters to us. You need to understand that particular thing, which I just mentioned. Right. Ashok Bhai will, probably endorse me on that.
All right. Anita ma'am, if before we move on to Maharashtra now, just one last thing. Let's talk about the fate of some candidates. We haven't really seen too many star candidates. Let's discuss the fate of some of them. What do you think? What do you think is the fate of Kiran Chaudhary, the daughter-in-law of Chaudhary, Bansi Lal? Do you think she's going to lose this time?
It's very tough. I don't know, because, they're all sitting MPs, they're all sitting ministers, that's not MPs, sorry, MLAs, legislatures. And there's particular anger against those, who have been in power, especially ministers, for not delivering. And since the whole emphasis is on delivery and on governance and, of course, corruption. So all these factors are going to play up. And I don't think it's maybe individuals might be targeted, but I think it's overall, I think it's targeted against the Congress, basically.
But even Captain Abhimanyu, the BJP spokesperson, and he might in fact be the Chief Minister, the face, from Haryana, he is also on sticky ground, is it not?
As for BJP is concerned, you don't know.
You don't know.
Because all of them are on,
we don't really have a chief minister.
Looking at the Lok Sabha election results and the Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh results, I don't think the candidate matters. Exactly. I know some of the people who have really, they never contested.
You remember there was a time when the Congress would say that?
The corporators, the man who never contested for corporation or a Gram Panchayat became a member of parliament. So, see, when waves come up, when there is a wave, everybody is on a winning streak.
I just wanted to make one point about what Vinayak said. I agree with, to a large extent, I agree with him about Chautala's comeback, There is a huge sympathy factor for him. The Jat factor is still very important. I wouldn't say that. You cannot brush it aside completely.
Right.
But it is also true that the Modi factor is working there. Right. It's overriding that factor,
and that's limited.
But just a second, Ashok. Can I just complete what I'm saying? What I'm saying is that even by his what his survey has shown, I think his survey shows about 43 seats, if I remember it right, for the BJP.
37 to 43, right.
Which is also fantastic.
That's what he
very,
said.
He good.
He said they've never crossed double digit, and this itself is phenomenal.
Even if you don't take 51 as the benchmark, what he has said, what Chanakya has said, but 43 or 40 is also excellent for BJP because they have never come into double digits, you know. So, and they've always had to depend on allies.
Yes.
In the past elections.
So a huge risk there, but it seems to be working.
But I think they obviously, like you said, they had studied the ground situation.
Yes.
They were well aware of what was happening over there, and they took decisions very wisely.
See, can we move on to Maharashtra now?
Just a small on Chautala. Sure, Chautala, the Om Prakash Chautala, his one son is in the jail. The son who is outside doesn't have that strong goodwill.
What about Dushyant Chautala?
He is supposed to be a very ruffian. No, Dushyant will see if he's
going to win. No,
he may win. He will win because he is contesting in that belt. The problem is that who will become the chief minister? Jats have realized that Om Prakash Chautala cannot become chief minister. It's for the saying of, you can say, I my jail se bhi shapat lunga. Hota nahi. It is not practically possible. So the Chautala who is outside, if he becomes a chief minister, it is better they would go for a Huda. So goodwill of a person also matters.
Right. Okay.
So that was one thing, I think, which went against the Chautalas at the end.
Okay, let's move on to Maharashtra now. Sanjeev sir, with your permission.
Sure.
Well,
all permissions have to be taken from
odds are in your favor even in that state. Of course you're going to give me permission.
Both the states are equally good for us. So
yes. Like I said, your beaming smile says it all.
Both are financial lifeline for the political parties.
Both
those who
are
do
financial lifeline.
Let me make sure.
one is the financial capital. And the other Gurgaon is the tech city.
The real estate capital.
The real estate and tech city. Tech city. The Gurgaon is the tech city. So both extremely vital and important states there, which you seem to be coming on tops. What about the ending of the BJP's 25-year-old association with the Shiv Sena?
See, BJP, that's what I said.
Yeah.
BJP wanted to go of their own in Maharashtra, but they were not having that confidence. Once you have, what is wrong in going alone? No, tell me other way around.
No, of course, yeah.
What is wrong in, every party has a right to grow. So they wanted to have their own government. It was a foolishness of a Shiv Sena that they didn't realize the plot of the BJP. Like what BJD has done. See, what BJD was with BJP, at the right point of time, they got rid of BJP. Now BJP can't enter Odisha. What has happened? Where the wave has gone during Lok Sabha election? The rest of the other election also, see, they will not be able to enter because he has guarded his fort. Shiv Sena would have played on that guard. But Shiv Sena was too confident on their Hindutva, on their Advani connections. They forgot that Advani is now irrelevant in as far as the BJP politics in centre is concerned. The Modi rules. And their posturing against Modi continuously, what yesterday Gadkari said, Samna is one of the factors which has spoiled the relation. So Samna kept on gunning Modi on various issues. So that was another issue. Modi welcomed Raj Thackeray. They didn't go well with Uddhav Thackeray. Since then it was love and hate relationship. So BJP kept them in dark. So whatever Sanjeev may claim, but BJP decided they will go off their own. They were finalizing the list of all 288 candidates.
Can we take a look at the exit poll once again? Please go on.
They kept on deciding on 288 candidates.
Yeah.
And they kept on telling Shiv Sena that we are working on the formula. Shiv Sena from 171, they came to 148. So many seats they have given to BJP. Again, the question of chief ministership came.
Right.
Had not that been there, they would have come out with more.
Don't you think it is interesting? Just look at the projections for Congress and NCP.
I will tell you how it.
82 to 27. I'm going by. Initially, I'm just looking at Chanakya.
I will tell you the region wise.
62 to 28. I mean, this is.
I will tell you the region wise.
It's a 15-year.
See, Maharashtra is not alone. It is called a Sanyukta Maharashtra. It's a combined Maharashtra. The Bombay state, the original Bombay state, Bombay and Pune region, and the Western Maharashtra came from there, Konkan and everything. That was a part of Bombay state. From Nizam, we got Marathwada. From CP Berar, we got Vidarbha. And together, we have a Maharashtra. So that is the story of the Maharashtra. Now the problem that all these regions, they behave independently as per the political equations are concerned. The Mumbai and Konkan, they took a Marathi issue and that is with Shiv Sena. The entire Western Maharashtra, right from Baramati, Pune to Kolhapur, is with Sharad Pawar's party.
NCP.
Vidarbha used to be a fort of Congress, but now it is totally with BJP. Marathwada and Khandesh, they are scattered between BJP and again Congress.
Okay.
Now that is what the scene is. Now what has happened? There are 1.5 crore voters in Mumbai. 75 lakh are non-Marathi, Gujarati and North Indians. When Shiv Sena opened a front against Gujaratis, North Indians, Muslims, they came together, they voted for BJP. So in the survey in which channel I'm working with, they have shown 25 seats out of 60 to BJP.
In Mumbai?
Mumbai and Thane.
Okay.
Konkan, BJP is absent total.
Okay.
Out of 17 seats, they don't have a single seat because Konkan, they don't exist. Vidarbha, out of 62, 51 has gone to BJP. Clear cut. In North Maharashtra, which is part of Nashik, Khandesh and adjoining area to Gujarat, 17 seats BJP gets. So that is big chunk. Marathwada also got 11 seats.
But Shiv Sena is emerging as the second largest party.
Definitely because of their share in Konkan and Mumbai. Half of the Mumbai seats they cornered.
Right.
And rest of the seats they get from Konkan. And some scattered, 2-3 from Khandesh, 2-3 from Vidarbha, like.
All right. Let's take a look at the vote shares in Maharashtra before I bring in Anita ma'am. There's a very important question I'm dying to ask her since the beginning of the show.
I don't know much about Maharashtra.
All right. Okay, those are the vote shares. Now, ma'am, what has happened to the Congress? That's my question. What is wrong?
That was
They just
seem to be recovering.
They are just not got their act together. I'm sorry to say. I mean, why should I feel sorry?
Why should we?
I'm sorry for them.
But the fact we feel sorry for the country also. We need to have some good.
Absolutely. And Maharashtra has always been
democracy. You need to have a strong opposition.
Stronghold.
Strong opposition. It's a check on the government.
For a healthy democracy.
And unfortunately, we don't have an opposition at all.
Yeah.
We have 44 MPs and one person praises Mr. Modi's Swachh India campaign, Swachh Bharat campaign, and he's removed as party spokesperson.
Well, that is, I kind of agree with that. It was silly of the party to kind of go all out. They could have done it quietly without making.
Of course, there are those who think that it didn't happen because of that. It happened because of
so many other.
Sunanda,
no, it could be any other reason. I mean, there must be multiple reasons for it. I mean, it's not. This was probably the last straw. What happened?
Right.
But anyway, that is a different issue because. I don't blame them, you know. I mean, tomorrow if somebody starts praising Rahul Gandhi in BJP, do you think they're going to keep quiet about it? No, they are not. I mean, they are a political party. You have to follow a party line. And the party line is very clear. They are in the opposition and there is a line as far as the BJP is concerned.
Praising the opposition.
This is like, I think he went a little overboard in his enthusiasm.
Okay, let's move on to basically what's wrong in the Congress.
Well, what is wrong with the Congress is that it is comatose. You know, I think they have a huge leadership problem at the center, and that is kind of telling. You know, it's the trickle effect in the states as well. Ever since the Lok Sabha elections, you have not seen any kind of action revitalization or any movement in terms of trying to fight back or trying to see, okay, where did we go wrong and how do we kind of recover from here and where do we go from, any kind of introspection. And that is what is really demoralizing the party. If you talk to any Congress person in private, they will all say winning and losing is part of the game.
Yeah, of course.
But you know, if this happens in elections, when you're in this game, you know, you lose some, you win some, that's fine, you know, you live with it. But you are willing to fight, you are in the fight as long as you see your general marching ahead. But in this case, they said, where is our general? You know, the leadership is not there. You know, you don't see a leader who is saying, okay, let's pick up the pieces and this is the way forward. There is no clarity on that as to what is the way forward.
Okay. Let's move on to a slightly more national issue. You know, there are two policy decisions which could be construed as unpopular by the central government, and that is raising the price of natural gas and ending a price cap on diesel. Now, Mr. Narendra Modi seems to have put off both those decisions till the elections happen. Do you think, you know, a lot of people are also saying that he's moving a bit too slow on reforms?
No, see, what till last 100 days, now Sanjay will have an objection on that. Before that, in Congress, what Anita ji was saying.
It's okay, you can object to each other once in a while on this show.
What Anita ji was saying, I want to add one more thing to the Congress. Yeah. They have become a habitual loser now.
They have relegated to the sidelines.
If they win, they may not digest. I have come to conclusion now. Because the way they have contested both these elections, Maharashtra and Haryana, there is called guarding your fort. Who was there? Narendra Modi.
They ruled Maharashtra for 15 years.
Amit Shah, even leaders like the Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister going to Maharashtra. It was a carpet bombing and 751 rallies they had in Maharashtra. For the last 8 days, 750 rallies. And what has happened to this thing? Total 17 appearances by both mother and son. This shows that they hardly had any interest in that. They already lost the election before contesting.
No, not interest. I won't say interest, but they were reconciled to the fact that they are not. They are going to be sitting in the opposition.
So they knew that there is going to be the anti-incumbents.
Like the BJP.
So even then what?
Like the BJP.
You put up a fight. You put up a fight.
That's what you give life to the your cadre.
Your cadres.
You have got 44 people sitting in the Lok Sabha house.
Right.
Now in Lok Sabha, 44 can halt the government.
Right.
They can create a problem for the government. What 44 people are doing? They're just sitting idle. One of them is sleeping, saying to be the leader of the party. He's a hero of the party.
But do you think that, you know, I'm coming back to what I was saying, Mr. Modi is, you know, the fact that he's put on hold.
Now coming back, both the states, Haryana and Maharashtra. Haryana, ma'am will be able to tell more. As far as Maharashtra is concerned, BJP will come to the power. One thing is sure for. But will they be able to deliver the things? The problems in Maharashtra have gone to that extent that it will take years and years for them to rectify it. But they promised all those things within 2 years. Will they be able to deliver? Same thing, Narendra Bhai in every speech promises moon, but will he be able to deliver? That's the big problem.
Okay.
Now similarly, when you talk of the diesel cap and the gas prices, these two things he will have to face.
Yeah.
He will have to tell people Why has he done it?
Yeah.
And he will have to justify it.
Right.
Why did he oppose when the Congress did it?
Exactly. That is yeah.
So both the things you have to tell. People, what he said, are youth. They have got aspiration. They don't think on the caste line politics, but they really look at the delivery.
Yes.
Now this is the time to deliver.
Right.
So honeymoon period is over, I suppose so.
Okay, now Sanjeev ji, there are elections coming up in 2015, Bihar and Jharkhand. How do you think this will play out in light of what Ashok ji and Anita ma'am have said?
The theory on which we are working is perfectly valid and it applies across all states. So the results which we are getting in Maharashtra and Haryana, similar results we are going to get in other states also, which will come to pass. Now, I'd like to take an interesting take on what Ashok Bhai just said. Modi ji promising moon in every speech. With the kind of talent which we have in India, the kind of scientific talent, the kind of entrepreneurship which is there, we can deliver Mars also.
Supreme Court on Ganga cleaning.
I knew
on
this
Ganga
would come.
cleaning.
I knew Mars would come.
At Ganga
I knew
cleaning,
it.
Supreme Court told.
Mars,
Are you there in the governance? What Supreme Court has said, it is not a journalist who are saying.
Taking credit for Mars is something I had asked you last time.
I just want to say, Sanjeev, sorry to say, but taking credit for Mars is, I think you're going a bit too far. Be a little state. I think your Prime Minister needs to be a bit of a statesman.
He has to come out from the election mode.
Can he just acknowledge the fact what the previous governments have done, what his predecessor has done? No. I remember when Manmohan Singh announced the moon mission and these projects, how much opposition there was. All the fact that, oh, how much money it's going to cost, can India afford it, we are such a poor country, we should be building hospitals, we should be building toilets and so on and so forth. So all this work didn't happen in the last 100 days. And I think now that you are in power and now that you're going to be there for 5 years and you are going to be ruling so many, I think you need to rise above this, be a little more statesman-like and say, okay, we are building and we are consolidating and building on what our predecessors, the previous successive governments have done. But you're not willing to do that. I think you're just getting so carried away by your own strengths and your successes that I think somewhere you need to sit back and kind of introspect on that.
I appreciate your point, Anita ji, but you need to understand. See, Ashok Bhai, when Supreme Court criticizes us for Ganga, it is just 150 days. I mean, it is not even 150 days. Yes. And there are so many things, there are so many steps, there are so many processes which have already been initiated on Ganga cleaning. So if somebody starts criticizing us in 150 days to do something which will normally take a 3 to 5 years time frame, that is, slightly unfair. And
by that same token, you cannot take credit for Mars.
Sanjeev,
because it's only 150 days.
Just a minute.
It's only 150 days.
What Supreme Court has said.
Mars didn't happen in 150 days. ISRO's all projects didn't happen in 150 days.
Ganga cleaning was your manifesto. Ganga cleaning was a part of your manifesto. You must have had some plans. Don't give us the plan which the previous government gave. Same IIT is working on various aspects. That was precisely the Supreme Court said. That's what we said. We were on day one, we were saying it takes time to improve the country. But Narendra Bhai said, what, you gave them 60 years. Give them 60 months. Give me 60 months. So in that, whatever Congress couldn't do in 60 years, Narendra Bhai is ready to do in 60 months. So according to that, 1 month becomes 1 year. So already 3 months or 4 months have passed, 4 years have passed. At least after 4 years, I expect a delivery. In your own language and mathematical calculation, I am saying so. Otherwise, I am on firm. Before 1 year, practically, the government should not say that we have achieved anything. Why the hell after 100 days, you started taking press conference saying 100 days achievement, 100 days achievement.
Ashok ji, can I just say something? Despite what you say, that smile is not going to go from Sanjeev Singh's face. Because of the exit poll results, he's going to continue to smile. I just want to ask you before I wrap up, do you think the same thing, Sanjeev Singh is confident, do you think the same phenomenon will work even in Bihar?
No.
Next year?
No.
That's the question I was asking.
That's what. Yeah. Knowing Maharashtra well, had Raj Thackeray and Uddhav Thackeray united, or NCP and Congress fought together, the result would have not been the same. Similarly, the by-elections, you see Bihar, everybody came together. See, what BJP's total share of voting in Lok Sabha was 31% to 35%. That is what the vote share is. So if the opposition is divided, they become a king. If the opposition unites, it's difficult for. There was a time that opposition used to unite against Congress. Now this is the time opposition, entire all political parties are uniting against Narendra Modi. I'm not saying BJP, Narendra Modi.
Can I also say one thing?
Please.
It's also a fact that, you know, these by-elections, these assembly elections have come very soon, shortly after the Lok Sabha election. So the honeymoon period is still very much on. But by 2015, a lot of time would have elapsed, and like as Ashok also said, people do expect delivery. And from the way Modi has built up his reputation as being a deliverer and a doer, and especially vis-a-vis the previous government, which kind of was just caught in policy paralysis, where nothing was moving at all, and they are pitching themselves as a government which is going to move very fast as far as decision making is concerned.
Right.
So they have now to really move on that track,
Right.
and unless they deliver, it will be a problem, because by then a whole year would be over, more than a year, and people would be judging them judging them on their performance in those 1 year.
Right. All right. Sanjeev Singh, thank you so much. It was great having you on the show, and I'd love to see you smile. Please keep smiling. That's a very personal comment. It has nothing to do with your party's exit polls, but great to see you smiling. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll have you soon again. Thank you so much. Aneet, I could not hear you, but there was a participation request. I would love to know what you wanted to say to us. Please write in to us with your comments. Vinayak, of course, thank you so much. He gave a very different perspective, which I think was
quite valid,
and also
needed to be said.
Yeah, a great discussion, Vinayak. Thanks to you. And needless to say, the two of you, Ashok ji and Anita ma'am, always a pleasure to have you in the studio. Thank you so much. For all those of you who watched this show, thank you for watching. Give us your views, your feedback, your comments on the exit polls and the BJP's performance and the dismal future predictions for the Congress party. Send us your tweets, write into us, your posts, and of course, leave your video comments for us. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.